They normally leave the head, as it's too bony. Unlike Olivia, the other otters in Paul and Grace's care are wild enough to be released one day, and they keep out of sight at feeding time. Volunteers are welcome to help with the studies. One wrote that watching wild otters here was the most incredible 2 hours of his life. Too many humans, that's the trouble. 10,000 years ago, there were only 4 million in the whole world. Now there are 23 cities with more than 5 million inhabitants, and the world population has grown to more than 6 billion. The world is becoming a human jungle, and one of its more populous places is Vietnam. And it's here, cheek by jowl with village life, that we find one of the world's most threatened animals.
The Cat T National Park is surrounded by rice paddies, sugarcane and cashew plantations, the fields tilled right to the edge of the forest. Within this protected enclave, there's a wealth of colourful animal life and plant life, and a project to study them. It was thought that the rhinoceros population here was extinct. It was not until 1989, when the carcass of a hunted Javan rhino suddenly appeared in a local market, that scientists realised they were still alive, somewhere. Even today, the closest that Gert Pollitt, the WWF advisor here, has come to one is through the lens of a camera. Triggered by infrared sensors, the cameras are mounted in places where the park's rhinos are thought to wander. When a rhino passes and cuts the beam between the sensor and the camera, a photograph is taken. Most of the animals here are nocturnal, including the rhinos. But even if they weren't, it's highly unlikely they'd be seen. It's believed there are only between 5 and 10 rhinos in the park. In fact, no scientist has ever seen a live specimen.
It's a sunny thing here.
This bat, caught in a mist net, is also of interest to the researchers, as is all the wildlife here. The bat isn't harmed, and once it's identified and its sex noted, they let it fly away.
Yeah, on the side, it's got three. There's two very similar.
There's barely any moonlight, but the camera still does its work. These are the first ever photos of live Javan rhinos in the park, the rarest large mammal in the world. Cat T covers roughly 75,000 hectares. The current plan is to consolidate the area and remove the pockets of farmland within it. Another project is the release of yellow tortoises confiscated in the north. They were probably on their way to China for food or medicine. But they come from southern Vietnam, and it's here in the south, at Cat T, that they're released. Saving the tortoises, the park, and most precious of all, the tiny rhino population, is all part of an education program which has had a positive reception in nearby schools. And it's here that those pictures from the infrared cameras have perhaps an even more important use than the merely scientific one. Because local interest and concern is the cornerstone of conservation.
Have you ever heard of the rhino?
Once they're familiar to everyone, and the value of these rare creatures fully appreciated, an endangered forest and all the fauna and flora within it have a much better chance of survival. Nearly 10% of the world's surface is now protected, and so human impact can be immensely beneficial.